How do you get your news?
A lot of trusted friends. I read a lot of local stuff like Signal,
Nice.
The Land, Cleveland Scene. Every now and then I'll do Cleveland.com, but I don't really mess with them since they busted that union. So read Sam Allard at the Axio. Shout out.
I typically go to Zigzag or I call you. Or I period. And or I Google like a particular topic.
How do you get your local news?
Local news, I watch like Channel 19 or Fox 8 or something like that. Or I'll typically be on Instagram. I follow certain pages on Instagram.
Lately, I've been reading more on Substack.
Okay.
Finding some writers on Substack. I'm not so far supporting anyone financially. I'm just sort of getting the lay of the land. But there are many good journalists showing up there every day.
Okay.
And it's easy access to get a different take.
Okay.
I'm also subscribing to something called The Lever, something called Signal, Cleveland.
Okay. Yeah.
And a friend suggested that I read The Economist because it is independent journalism and it is a different take on the economic situation. And that has been very surprisingly soothing.
Okay.
It has taken me out of the fear-based media. I mostly see that like LA Times, the Bezos paper, Washington Post, Murdoch papers. And I've been surprised at how few people know who owns their newspapers. So I've been encouraging people to actually look up who owns what they're reading.
Do your research.
My husband is a part of big journalism,
Yeah.
so woo-hoo, gotta read my husband's stuff. But generally, I read local news, and I do a lot of like social media. I do a lot of talking with friends and neighbors, and I love investigative journalism. I think local journalism is truly where it's at.
I don't generally trust big journalism like, CNN, NBC, Fox News. I mostly get it from websites like Jacobin, from labor notes, from talking to trusted people in the community, and I read a lot of books.
Well, for local news, like news that's happening in the city, I like get my news from the Cleveland Remembrance page. I'm in a business class, so I mainly get like a lot of my news from my business teacher because he come and teach us and talk to us about things that's happening politically, things that's happening every day in different cities and things like that. My mom watches news, so I watch it with her.
From you.
Thank you.
Oh boy, I'll tell you. If I want to know what's going on in Jerusalem, I will talk to somebody who is in Cleveland via Jerusalem. Or if I want to know what's going on in Lebanon, I talk to people that go to Lebanon. Ideally, that's where I like to get my news from. I mean, there's news going on around me all the time, I want to know what people think. I want to know what regular people think. I want to know what my friends think, family members. Consuming news media. Definitely like to hear what Brian Tyler Cohen has to say about things. I like to hear the legal perspectives from some of the lawyers on YouTube. I want to know what Jamie Raskin thinks about what's going on legally. Yeah, so the news is something that I'm always thinking critically about.
I get my news I do a lot of my own research. I don't really watch TV all that much. So I go into the internet. YouTube is, obviously a main source, but you got to definitely be careful though, because you can run into a lot of fake news and news that a lot nowadays, have AI. So a lot of news that seems so real and so like that person really said it. You have to really do some digging. You can't just go off of just the one source. So
yeah.